Shalom, 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 Yashala. This your boy, Brother Samuel, or Shamuel, back at you with another quick edifying video, right? Today's lesson is going to be called, Those That Be Ignorant, Let Them Be Ignorant, right? First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash, right? That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and His only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi, right? And the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa, Qadash, right? Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone from Tahar on down, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth, right? So like I said, today's lesson or topic is going to be called Those That Be Ignorant, Let Them Be Ignorant, okay? And it kind of came to me, this is in First Corinthians, right? It says, but if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant, right? And I just want to kind of see what, we can go into the definition of ignorant. We can hear what it is too. Let's see.
Strong's G50,
Agnaeo, right? And that's to be ignorant, right? And when you look it up, it says to be ignorant, not to know, not to understand, right? Unknown, to err or sin through mistake, to be wrong, right? So like I say, this lesson is going to be called, those that be ignorant, let them be ignorant, and the thing about it too is, a lot of times, and I know when brothers was, teaching right at the, like these main corners, people would come in and they want to, try to teach you, they want to try to teach you. And I know brothers used to just go back and forth, and it wasn't fruitful, so, that's kind of why I'm coming up with this lesson that, through the Spirit, we continue to evolve and to grow in this thing, so, that's why, this topic is coming. It says, those that be ignorant, let them be ignorant, right? But I want to get the, let's just get into it, right? Let's get to some scriptures, right? So let's go to First Corinthians, right? 14 and verse number 38. So and it reads, it says, but if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant, right? I'm going to read up top 37. It says, if any man think to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of Yahawashi. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant, right? Let him be ignorant, because, everybody wants to teach. Everybody wants to, show their opinions and do their different things, man, and it's unfruitful a lot of times, who was it? I think it was Elder Apostle Tahar was saying, when brothers go out and you go and you might debate with a Kemet. Guess what? When he leave, he's still going to be a Kemet or whatever. These Christians, they still going to be Christians, right? They're just not gonna figure it out. If they can't understand, they're not gonna get it, right? So those that be ignorant, hey, let them be ignorant. Let's get this right. Let's go to the book of John, right? Because Yahawashi told us, this is John chapter 26 or 10, Salakia, in verse 26, and it says, but ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. As I said unto you, my sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. Right? Those who are going to follow these scriptures, right? This Bible, are going to be those who are of the sheep, are of the fold, right? And the reason why, these other people can't get it, because they're not, right? Yahawashi told them, they are not of my sheep. Right? They are not of his fold. right? Because he said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me, right? And they follow me. So that's what you got to understand, man. You know what I mean? And so that's why sometimes, hey, you just got to let those that be ignorant, just let them be ignorant. Right? If they can't get it, they're not going to figure it out. Hey, just keep going, right? Because we know that ultimately, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has blinded them, right? Has covered up their understanding where they just are not going to get it. Okay, let's get another one, right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, right? Matthew, right, chapter 15 and verse number 14, right? And it says, "Let them alone; they be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch." You know, because everybody, they all want to come with their own thing, and this is what I believe, and this is what I write. And if they don't have that understanding, right, they're just not gonna get it, right? And people, they get stuck in their pride, right? And they don't want to humble down, because they don't want to feel like, oh well, the understanding that I have is totally off, right? Those who are humble, right, will do that, will humble themselves and try to get more understanding, right? And you got a lot of these other camps, man, right? You're still trying to persuade people, of all these falsehoods, man. The MOTB is sin. It's this philosophy. It's whatever they're saying, right? It just, the scripture, Matthew chapter 15 and verse 14 says, "Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch." The Most High is setting them up, man. He's playing chess with them and setting them, up for destruction. They don't want to get it. Hey, it's not meant for them to get it. Okay? Like Yahawashi, was saying, I speak in parables, but unto you I give you the understanding. But it's for them, it's not for them to understand, just paraphrasing, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? Right, because this is prophesied, in Isaiah too, Isaiah chapter 6. Let's go to verse 9, right? And it reads, and he said, "Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not." Like our people just can't get it. They just can't understand it. They can see it, they can read it, but they can't comprehend it. These scriptures are only given, to those who are worthy, right? Those who are of the fold. It says, "But understand not." He said, it's like, let me read it again. This is Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "And he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed." Right? So it's not meant, for a lot of these folks, man. Right? It's a lot of folks, man, who just are going off, and you know and you sitting there trying to convince them. It's almost like talking to a wall, right? You could talk to a wall all day, right? And it's not going to change. It's still going to be a wall, and it's not going to do anything but continue to stand there, right? And that's how it is, talking with, some of these Jakes out here, and some of these Eve, man, right? They're just not going to get it, right? And we just got to understand that, because it's not meant for everybody, right? Let's stay in the book of Isaiah, right? And let's go to 29 and verse number 10, right? And it reads, it says, "For Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have caused your eyes, have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered." Right? It says, nope, that's all I wanted, right? So the Most High has poured a spirit of deep sleep upon our people, man. Right? Where they just can't get it. Right? They're walking hypnotized, sleepers, man, right? Even though their eyes are open, right? They're walking around, they're moving, they are spiritually asleep, man, right? There's a spirit of deep sleep upon them, that their spirit is just in slumber right now, yet they're walking on this earth, right? Like zombies, And that's why they make these movies, The Walking Dead and these other things, man. Right? These are all, these are about our people, man. Right? Jake just don't get it, man. Jake just continues to, walk in this world with no cares and no understanding of what's going on, you know, but yet wants to give his opinion, you know, and we know, like, this is not for everybody, right? And we can go to Romans and get that, right? This is the book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse number 7. It says, "What then Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded." Right? The rest were blinded. So a lot of times, like I say, it's unfruitful to keep going back and forth, right? You can surely, try to teach somebody, but if they just can't get it, after a few times you just going back and forth, it just becomes unfruitful, right? There could be somebody else who needs this understanding. There's another sheep who needs to be fed, right? And you have this, wolf who's just sitting here, just blocking the sheep's, food, right? So it says, verse 7, Romans chapter 11, verse 7, it says, "What then Israel have not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded." Right? "According as it is written, the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day." Right? And we see it out there, man. Right? We see it on, on the unicorn, right? On the internet, right? We see, brothers who they just not gonna get it, right? And they want to go back and forth. Hey, it's not even fruitful, man. Leave well enough alone. Seek after those who, who are going to hear Yahawashi's voice, right? Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's voice. His sheep hear him and they follow him. Okay. Because they were blinded, right? And it's all part of the plan of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? Let's get this, right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse number 3, right? And it says, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost," right? So if the gospel is hid, it is hid to them that are lost, right? It says, "In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them." Right? So the God of this world has blinded, a lot of these Jakes and Eves out here, man. They're just not gonna get it. They're not gonna pick up on it, right? Because it wasn't meant for them, right? Because if it was meant for them, right, that they would understand and they'd be healed, right? But prophecy has to be fulfilled, right? Prophecy has to be fulfilled, right? And the scriptures say that 2/3 of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or the Israelites here in America, are going to be put to death, man. Right? They're gonna play that role of being blinded, right? Of being ignorant, right? So those who are ignorant, let them be ignorant still. Let's go to 2 Peter, right? Let's go to 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. You got some folks, they want the smoke, right? You want to, give them the smoke. Hey, but at the end of the day, man, listen, it's you slinging a sword, and it's not even purposeful. Like, what's the, they weren't gonna get it. They weren't gonna get it. They're not gonna get it. So you just got to keep it moving. Okay. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 1, and it says, "But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying, right, the Lord that brought them, and upon themselves swift destruction, right? So you got some camps out here, right, who are denying the Lord. They're denying the name of the Lord. They know the name of the Lord, but they want to deny it, right? That's unfruitful, man, right? If they say, you know, they know the name, but they choose not to use it. Well, then let them be ignorant, man. There's no reason to go back and forth with them, right? You know, it's no reason to go back and forth, right? And you got all these different heresies and these different doctrines now. You got, some bugged out crazy things. You got doctrines where it says that Yahawashi didn't do miracles, didn't do actual miracles. Like, it's just totally, you know what I mean? And that's why you got to be rooted, in this true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? And we know that the men of GMS from Apostle Tahar on down, right, have that understanding, right? And that's who we cleave to, and we get fed and we're able to feed, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? And we got to understand that, these scriptures will not fail, right? So they're saying that there's going to be false prophets among the people, false teachers, right? And we can see that, right? So we can't be amazed when these things happen. These things have to be fulfilled, right? Just like we know that, Babylon or America is spiritual Sodom and Egypt, right? That's why we see all this sodomy and different things going on, in this place, man. And it's being pushed heavy, in these last days, right? It has to fulfill this purpose, right? Just like, the ignorant have to fulfill their role of being ignorant, Okay, let's get Second Thessalonian, right? We're gonna stay in the twos. Second Thessalonian chapter 2 and verse number 11, right? And it says, Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11, it says, and for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, right? And this is that, going into that blind leading the blind, man, right? These folks are going to believe that lie. They're going to believe it wholeheartedly, right? With all their heart, with all their mind, because the Most High has blinded them and put them in a deep slumber. And now guess what? They believe what they see now, right? They believe these things. It says, and for this cause, the Most High shall give them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. You were given the correction, you were given these things, and you chose not to listen to it. Then, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? So now the Most High is going to give you that strong delusion, and now you're going to start believing that, and guess what? Then it's over, okay? And so, sometimes it's just better to let, hey, those that be ignorant, let them be ignorant, okay? Let's move on to 1 Timothy, right? 1 Timothy chapter 4, right, and verse number 1, right? It says now, 1 Timothy 4:1, it says, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times, right, we are living in the latter times, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, right? And this is what a lot of our people have done, right? You denounce the name of Yahawah, right? You don't even mention it, right? We don't know the name. We don't know. Hey, okay. These are those seducing spirits, the doctrines of devils, man, right? These are these things that are happening, right? They're departing from the faith, right? At one point, hey, the leader was probably teaching Yahawashi, and all of a sudden, the Most High sent him a strong delusion. Hey, and now what you see what's going on now, right? It says, reading on verse 2, it says, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, right? And when you sear something with a hot iron, hey, you can't wipe that off and get that clean. It's imprinted in their head, right? So now these delusions are so strong that now they are just implanted in the brain cells of them, and you can't get that out. You're not going to be able to wash that thing out, right? The only thing is going to be able to get that out, right, is these nukes, right, or them laser beams, man, right? And for that judgment that's going to be coming, upon those, who love not the law and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Took it for granted, right, and wanted to be ignorant. Then let them be ignorant still, man, right? That'll clean out that hot iron off their head, their conscience. Okay. Let's go to, and like I said, you warn people, right? We are, we set up as watchmen to warn the things that are going on, right? And let's get this right. Let's go to Ezekiel. Let's go to 33, right? And verse number 2. This is Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 2. It says, "Son of man, speak to the children of thy people," right? The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, "and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him up for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head," right? So you go out there, you warn the folks, right? You give warning, right? You blow the alarm, right? If they don't want to take heed to it, then that's on them, right? It says, "He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul," right? So, you can go and you can warn, right? If those who don't want to listen and they don't want to hear the trumpet, hey, then so be it. Those who do and hearken and listen and they change, hey, call Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, right? That's how you got to be, right? Because there's a lot of, the Israelites are like the sand of the sea, and sometimes, brothers spend too much time, on somebody, and when you understand that they just not going to get it, you just got to keep it moving, right? And what does it say earlier in Ezekiel, right? Let's go to Ezekiel 3 and 11. And it reads, and it says, "And go and get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith Yahawashi thy power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear," right? So you tell them, right? You most surely warn them, right? But if they hear it or if they don't hear it, right? They've been warned, right? And then in the book of Ezekiel tells you all about that, right? As long as you warn them, hey, you wash the blood off your hands, right? And now it's going to be upon them. Okay, so we got to understand that, and like I say, you warn the folks, you go out, hey, but if they after 2 or 3, right? What does that say in the book of Titus? Hey, then you got to just let it go, So the book of Titus, what is it? 3 and verse number 9, it says, Titus 3 and verse 9, it says, "But avoid foolish questions and genealogies," right? And that's what a lot of them, they want to come and be contentious and do these things, man. Those who want to be ignorant, you got to let them be ignorant, right? It says, "But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and striving about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain," right? Because brothers, they can go back and forth, right? I remember brothers, we used to stand on one corner. We used to have a dude who used to come up every week, man, right? Trying to come back. And we sit there and we get our precepts ready to chop them up, man, through the spirit, right? To the point where he just kept coming. And it was a point where we even then we realized it wasn't fruitful, like you not going to get it, brother. So just keep it moving, right? It says, "A man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition, reject," reject. It says, "knowing that this is such a subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself, right? So after the second or third admonition, hey, reject, man. Or the first and second admonition, I'm sorry. So like it says, a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition, reject, man. Right? After 2 or 3 times, hey, man, all right, you're not getting it. Hey, lower speed, wish you the best, keep it moving, right? Go talk to somebody who's willing to listen, right? Who's willing to humble themselves down and actually listen and do it. Those folks who want to be contentious and get on people's lives and do these things, hey man, whatever. Do what you do, or go teach your own thing, It's a lot of like high school women gossiping, in this ministry, man, right? A lot of they don't want to get it. You just gotta just leave it alone, reject it, okay? It says a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition, reject, man. Just all right, brother, go about your business then, right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, and verse number 15, right? Because at the end of the day, we all are striving, to make it into the kingdom, man. Yahawashi will, right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? It says, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. Right? A lot of times you get caught up in it, it becomes unfruitful. Right? The sheep who might want to come up, hey, they get scared away and they go away. Right? They're like, I don't want to deal with this, man. This is some old craziness, right? Startled the sheep and now they ran away again, right? Let me get a comparison of this, right? This is the G&T, right? It says, do your best to win the full approval in the Most High sight, right? It doesn't say in man's sight. In the Most High sight, you got to study to show yourself approved of the Most High, right? So that it is full approval in the Most High's eyes, right? As a worker who is not ashamed of his work, one who correctly teaches the message of the Most High's truth, right? It says, keep away from profane and foolish discussions, which only drive people farther away from the Most High, right? And that's what a lot of times you have these, like the scriptures say, there'll be scoffers in the last days. That's how we live in the last days, man. You got people scoffing, on people's pages and, people coming up to camps and trying to scoff. That's how we know we're living in these last days, man. And hey, if a brother or sister don't get it, hey, you got to keep it moving on them, This is what we got to do, right? And study to show yourself approved. Okay? Let's go to 2 Corinthians. It's like in 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse number 5. It says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves that Yahawashi Hamashiach is in you, except you be reprobates, right? So, a lot of times we got to examine ourselves too, because a lot of times, you get into these things and you start to become carnal, right? And you get that carnal mindset, and you got to make sure, when you're dealing, you got to stay in the spirit, man. You got to stay in the spirit, right? And these just understand that these are spirits trying to get you out of your spirit. They're trying to get you out of that, the place that you're in, of your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and try to get you to swoop down to their level, right? So you got to constantly be examining yourself too, when you see these things, right? Before you open your mouth, make sure that, the things that you're going to say, right, are words of wisdom, right? Because, we know Jake is quick to lash out and do things, and that's things that, like I say, I still got to work on, I got to watch, sometimes I'll type a text and I have to erase it, or read it and think about it. Nah, that's not all right. Let me, you know what I mean? is that worth it? Is this going to be worth the contention? I don't need the contention. Let me just, you know what I mean? You got to be able to examine yourself and continue to, it says be harmless, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove, you know? So you don't need to be contentious about this thing, you know? You go out there, you push this truth, right, to those who hear it. If they don't, hey, those who are ignorant, let them be ignorant still, okay? Got a couple more. We're going to close it out, right? Let's go to Philippians, right, chapter 2 and verse number 12, right? And it reads, it says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Right? Understand that, hey, this thing is a serious matter, man. Right? And that's going back and forth, right, with folks who are not going to get it. Hey, it's folly at the end of the day, man. Right? Stay focused on your job and your duty, right? Because we know, the devil knows that he has a short time, and he's going to do everything in his power to try to deviate you away from what you should be doing, okay? So we got to stay focused in this thing, right? And those that are ignorant, you continue to let them be ignorant still, right? And I'm going to close out on this one. Let's go to Revelation, right? Chapter 22 and verse number 11, right? It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still, right? Salaki, I'm going to jump up. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 10. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand, right? We are living in these last days, and the time is at hand of these prophecies and these sayings, right? Let's read on. It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still, right? You just want to be a nigga, let that nigga be a nigga, man, right? He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, right? Those who want to, keep lifting up them brothers that want to be righteous, man, right? Those who you should be kind of going and uplifting and upbraiding, not, these niggas who want to be niggas, let them be that, let Jake be Jake, It says, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still, right? And these are things that we need to do, right? It says, verse 12, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his works shall be, right? So we gotta make sure we're continuing to focus, on what's important, right? Pushing these prophecies, showing the people, hey, the MOTB is coming, right? And it's coming and it's right here, right? It's at the doorway, And those who can't get it, hey, let them be ignorant still, right? Those who are unjust, let them be unjust still, right? You don't have time, right? We got to continue to warn and blow this alarm, right? And that's what we got to focus on, right? And try to focus on ourselves, Lord's will, we're part of that number that can get salvation, man. That's what we're aiming for, man. We're not aiming to be the best, swordsmen and cutting folks up. No, man, we're trying to do this work of Yahawashi and push this truth, right? And usher in the coming of Yahawashi, right? That's a beautiful thing, man, right? And don't let no man take that from you, okay? Lord's will, this was edifying, right? I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say Kahala Yahawah, Bahasham Mashiach Yahawashi, Bahasham Rawchaa Qadash. Peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Almighty Shalom to the hopeful elect, man. Stay strong, stay focused, right? Stay diligent. Keep praying for one another, man, right? And those that be ignorant, hey, let them be ignorant still. And with that, Shalom.